We have one more night of camp meeting after tonight.
You got to know her.
I mean, that sounds terrible, but it's nice.
I'm ready.
Hello.
Scott, they changed the battery in your car.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, I like your dress shirt. He's rocking the sharks.
I'd like to call this Thursday, June the 29th, Alexander County Board of Education special call meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to recognize Matthew Reese for our Pledge of Allegiance.
We would please stand. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Board members, you have your agenda in front of you. What's the pleasure of the board for the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second. Had a motion by Board Member Aguayo, second by Board Member Bowman. Any discussion? All those in favor of approval of the agenda say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Agenda carries. At this time, we'll go to new business item A, the consideration of Sugarloaf Elementary construction bids. And I'd like to recognize Maintenance Director Chris Campbell at this time.
Good evening, Chairman Robinson, Vice Chairman Arguelles, Dr. Hefner, and board members. Pleasure to come to you tonight. I know that a lot of y'all have worked on this for a long time, and it's been on the topic for 5 years since I've been here. So I'm going to just get started with the bid, and I'll go ahead and apologize ahead of time. I do not have the numbers memorized, so I will be reading a lot, so I'll make sure I get them correct. In advance.
Great.
The first slide that I have is the awarded grant amount, which when we applied for the North Carolina needs-based public school capital fund grant, I submitted the total grant proposal had to have a 5% local match, which would be $265,000 from the county, $5.3 million from the state, for a total of $5.566 million in 16. $5.566016 million, and that's the grant amount that we were awarded, and the county has agreed to do their 5% match.
Can all of you read that? It was a little small. You can read it? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Can
you read it?
No. But I'm
Can we
gonna
make it any
Clarify,
bigger?
This $5.566 million is a grant, which is for capital expenditures in addition to building, not operating expenses, correct?
This grant can only be used for Sugarloaf Elementary School's gym and office complex. It has to go towards what we wrote the grant for.
It's a capital expense.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Would you like for me to get a copy?
No, I wrote it down.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next slide is the allowances that the architect included in for the bid. There was an allowance for site grading of $600,000, allowance for information and technology of $200,000, allowance for general of $100,000. The finished hardware is $1,500 per door. Allowance of unsuitable soils in case the soil is bad is $50,000. Allowance of engineered soils is $100,000. These are allowances that are included in the base bid, but we can take back out, and they could change the amounts. So I know you won't be able to read this one. I apologize. It's small, but I had to get it on here. This is the certified bid tabulations for the sheet. And it's hard for me to read here too.
I'll tell you what I would like to do, Chris. I would like to give them a copy. I see some don't have devices.
Would you like for me to go in there and make?
I will. Okay, Deborah will. I think it's very important that you see this information because it will include a base bid, the number of days that they estimate it will take to complete the project, and then there are 3 alternates included, and it will show you, we actually had 3 bids submitted, and it gives you the figures for all of those, because tonight you will be charged with picking one of the 3. So it is important that they see that.
You want me just to wait? Or
Just wait a minute.
Can I ask a question? Go back to the last slide. When you said we could take that out, explain that a little bit more.
So like site grading, the civil drawings were not done prior to the bid, so they were not exactly sure of how much the site grading was gonna be, so they
Okay.
were given an allowance in the bid of 600,000.
Okay,
Same thing for information technology, because that would involve us talking with our technology department to figure out exactly what they would want.
and we think those numbers are,
This money will be spent in some way, shape, or form. That does
Okay.
not mean that it will be totally taken out of the entire project, but
Okay.
the cost could vary.
thank you.
And while we're waiting on the copies, I'm just going to clarify this for the public and for the paper. Micah, thank you for being here. This $5.56 million grant is for capital needs. It was written specifically for Sugarloaf, and it was awarded. It's not in any way tied to the 64 million school operating budget discussion that we have had as far as having the shortfall of, and we're guesstimating 3 million for the 24-25 school year. And I just want that to be very specific because people do not understand school system budgeting. And the moment that they see a capital project start, they start saying, why on earth would you build something when you need money? But this money was a grant awarded specifically for the Sugarloaf gym renovation and the new gym. And it can only be spent for that.
And Dr. Hefner, if we don't do this project, we have to give the money back, correct?
That is correct. It would revert directly back to the state if we do not fulfill this project.
Which is expected to improve the quality of our children's lives.
Oh,
and the children at
absolutely.
school.
Absolutely. It would improve the lives of the children at Sugarloaf.
Excellent.
And I think me and Bridget for sure can attest to, we've been talking about this for at least 10 to 12 years, maybe more. And Sugarloaf has patiently waited on us saying, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. So it's time. We've got a perfect opportunity to do it, and they deserve it. That part of the community deserves a gym that's full size for the whole community to enjoy. So this is something that's been coming for a long, long time. It ain't like we just jumped into this one. So it's something that really, I'm very happy to be a part of.
It's wonderful news. It's a big thank you to Mr. Elmore and Senator Settle for having helped us find the money for this as well.
When I was working on writing this grant and talking with the facilities committee, we could not find any way possible with the current capital money that we had to make this project happen and not go in the hole. So I'm very appreciative of the director mentioned as well.
Just
Okay.
so we're clear and understand how everything flows.
Board members, we're on page 4, and
Okay.
Mr. Campbell, if you will, pick up there.
So I'm gonna start with J.M. Coke Construction's bid, and I'm gonna start from the top and work my way down, and I'm gonna actually read the numbers because they put hard work in. I think everybody's numbers should be read. So the base bid for J.M. Coke was $4,727,000. The amount of days it would take to do the project is 365. Alternate 1, which is the media center renovations, is $943,000. Alternate 2, which would be a platform behind the existing gym and a ramp to get down to the playground to help with ADA compliance, was $298,000. And alternate 3 would be the demolition of the existing boiler and the parts with it. For the subcontractors list, the general contractor would be J.M. Coke. The plumbing would be Reed's Plumbing. HVAC would be Link Boiler. Electrical would be K&M Electrical and Heating, and the site work would be to be determined. And then at the bottom, it gives prices per like what they do, line item prices of what they put in. Hickory Construction Companies, base bid was $4,865,000. The days to complete the project would be 400. Alternate 1 is 825,000. Alternate 2 is 209,000, and alternate 3 is $3,900. Hickory Construction would be the general contractor. Plumbing would be Tate Plumbing. HVAC would be Link Boiler. Electrical is Top Quality. Site work is to be determined. G.L. Wilson, the base bid amount is $4,819,000. The number of days to complete the project is 426. Alternate number 1 is 947,000. Alternate 2 is 236,000. Alternate 3 is $6,500. The general contractor would be J.L. Wilson Building Company. The plumbing would be Stanley Heating and Air. HVAC would be Link Boiler. Electrical K&M Electrical and Heating. And site work would be G.L. Wilson. Any questions on that?
The days is approximate.
Days is approximate.
Okay.
So on this next slide, thank you, Deborah, for printing all that out for me. What I did is I went through, and at the top, you'll have the base bid along with the architect's design fees, because part of that grant does have, the design fees has to be included in that grant. And so that will be part of our total amount. So what I've done at the top is I broke it down. In this section, I did the base bid, and then the next one I did base bid with alternate 1, which is the renovation of the media center. And then I'd added base bid plus alternate 1, alternate 2, and then base bid plus all 3 alternates and the design fees. So if you look at the top, the base bid total cost for accepting the bid for JM Cope Construction is $4,963,350. The base bid accepted for Hickory Construction Company would be $5,108,250. G.L. Wilson would be $5,059,950. So then if you go to the next one, this is with the media center renovation. The base bid or the bid cost for the base bid plus alternate 1 for JM Cope Construction would be $5,953,500. Hickory Construction would be $5,974,500, and G.O. Wilson would be $6,054,300. With alternate 1 and 2 and the design fees the design fee is 5% of the total cost of the project. So each one I had to calculate what the design fee if we add an alternate to it. The third one is with the media center and the ramp and the retaining wall behind the gym, the existing gym. The JM Cope would be $6,266,400. Hickory Construction would be $6,193,950. G.O. Wilson would be $6,302,100. And then the bottom one is with all alternates, and the base bid would be $6 million. For JM Cope Construction would be $6,270,600. Hickory Construction would be $6,198,045, and G.O. Wilson would be $6,308,925. Sometimes it's good to see all the numbers together. And
Well, it's good too to break it out and just to show the different totals.
So next slide is my recommendation. My recommendation, and after speaking with the architect and others, is that we accept JM Cope Construction's base bid and negotiate the alternates and attempt to remain within the grant amount at this time.
How confident are they that they could find a way to get the alternates
The
back in
architect is
line?
pretty confident. It might be some plan revisions, or we might have to leave out some stuff that we wanted to do. But the biggest part is to get the offices in the gym, and that the existing gym could actually function as a media center the way it is for the time being. But one of the other things we need to look at is some of the other projects with the North Carolina Public School Needs-Based Grants, is you could ask for additional funding for a current project in some of the past, so that would be an option too if we wanted to do something in the future.
So you have multiple paths you're going to work.
If we go over budget, the only way we would have to do is spend more capital funding or find additional funding. But with the allowances and understanding how the allowances will change and come out as they go and what they would actually be, the actual cost, I personally believe that we will be able to stay under budget as those come in.
Any other questions for
I
Mr.
made
Campbell?
it, so I'm gonna put it up there.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself there.
Thank you for breaking the numbers down.
Thank you for working on this.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Any other questions? All right.
Is JM Cope a local, pretty local
They're-
company or? where
They're
they
out of
from?
Rock Hill.
Rock Hill?
All of their subcontractors are Hickory, Statesville, except for, I believe, Link Boiler is Longview, North Carolina.
Well, that's still Hickory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you like a motion to approve?
I was going to ask what the pleasure of the board was. Yes, if we
Make
have
a
a
motion to approve.
Did you make the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to second it. But I would, can I spell
Hang
it
on,
out?
can I ask you to specify
Yes.
exactly what you're
Yes.
making a motion on, so that everybody understands what you're approving?
To make a motion to approve the recommendation made to us by the administration to proceed forward with JM Co. Construction and to negotiate alternatives in an attempt to remain within the grant approval.
Great.
Yes, and I will second that motion.
We have a motion by Board Member Aguirre and a second by Board Member Ryan. Do we have any other discussion? All those in favor of approval of the motion as presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This time, we'll go to new business item B, resolution by the Alexander County Board of Education concerning universal non-public school vouchers. Board members, you have this in your packet. This time I'm going to read it. Resolution by the Alexander County Board of Education concerning universal non-public school vouchers. Whereas the North Carolina State Constitution guarantees the opportunity to a sound basic education for all children in our state, and according to Article 9, the General Assembly shall provide by taxation and otherwise for a general uniform system of free public schools which shall be maintained at least 9 months in every year, and wherein equal opportunity shall be provided for all students. And whereas the North Carolina courts have upheld that the state of North Carolina, per the Leandro rulings, is not meeting its constitutional obligation to provide the opportunity for a sound basic education to all public school students. And whereas HB 823, SB 406, Choose Your School, Choose Your Future, is a universal voucher program which is scheduled to direct billions of dollars of available public funds to non-public schools. Further, non-public schools are not equally available to all students and have no objective oversight process for how they use public dollars. And whereas, unlike public schools, non-public schools can reject students based on discriminatory criteria established by the private school, and whereas, providing public dollars to 4 separate schooling options, including traditional public schools, public charter schools, private schools, and homeschools, does not provide a uniform system of education for all students. And whereas the vastly different mechanisms for oversight and operation of these 4 education options create an uneven playing field, and whereas access to the various education options is limited to many students based on factors such as, but not limited to, the availability of transportation, the need for special education instruction, the ability to provide breakfast and lunch, purchase school supplies, and parental engagement. And whereas the North Carolina Office of State Budget Management projects the Alexander County School District will see its state funding drop by $1,461,126 by the fiscal year 2026-27 if this universal voucher program is enacted. And whereas when state funding decreases, the percentage of per pupil funding going towards fixed costs, which includes electricity, water, sewer, gas, internet, fuel, etc., increases, and the amount of per pupil funding going towards educating students decreases. And whereas the Opportunity Scholarship was established to provide an opportunity for students in low-income households to have a choice to attend a private school. And whereas the new program proposed by both chambers removes all income caps. And whereas high-income families already choose to attend non-public schools and do not need a public school voucher. And now therefore be it resolved that the Alexander County Board of Education opposes any voucher bill or budget provision that does not include a household income limit as part of the eligibility criteria and does not meet the North Carolina State constitutional obligation to provide a free and uniform system of public education to all students. And be it further resolved, the North Carolina General Assembly should create a new allotment to cover the fixed cost to operate school buildings that is not included in the per pupil funding formula. And be it further resolved that the chair and superintendent are authorized to disseminate this resolution to the members of the General Assembly and the governor. And number 2, the board encourages parents, students, and other community members to contact their North Carolina legislatures to implore them to abide by their oath to uphold the North Carolina State Constitution. And if it passes, it will state adopted by the Alexander County Board of Education. This is the 29th day of June, 2023. Board members, do we have any discussion?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would like to say, since all this discussion has come about, I want the board to know that I am in favor of this resolution, but I just feel in my best interest and heart to explore to the general public and to the rest of you all my thoughts regarding this. We are blessed to live in a school district that have teachers that truly care about the children that embark upon their doors. And, I was elected by my constituents to stand up for the children in the school system, in the public school system. And unless I'm mildly mistaken, I don't know of anyone else sitting on this board that is possibly as impacted in their immediate family as what I am. The division that it has somewhat created. I truly believe that parents should have the choice to send where they want their children to go to school. But at the same time, I was elected to represent the children of the Alexander County school system, and I have children in the public school system. So I do have to say that I am in opposition of that bill. But I will say that, in our family, we have discussed and we have talked that, we have put it in the Lord's hands. It is what it is. If it passes, we will, we will navigate those waters. And if it doesn't, so be it. But, there are other school systems out there, general public, that does not have what we have in Alexander County. There is children that arrives at schools that there is all different kind of propaganda that is portrayed, no matter what it may be. But here in Alexander County, we do not have that. And I can speak for myself that as long as I'm on the board, I'm going to make sure that that hometown heritage is protected. That children, when they go to school, they need to be encompassed with all of the things. Safety. They need to know how to read, how to write, and how to do arithmetic to be able to further better themselves in their careers. And, I hear all the time, CRT, SEL, the litter boxes. Folks, if we turn off the news, we would probably be much better off instead of trying to listen to all of that and to go straight to the source. And so I just, Mr. Chairman, I just felt that I needed to get that off of my chest, because there have been many a nights that I have toyed and I have prayed with this, because I do believe in the public school system. That is why my children are in the public school system. If I did not believe in what was offered and afforded here to my children, I would go different avenues. But I just wanted to share that, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I would just like to applaud the statement made by Mr. Reese. I think that it was absolutely on point. I couldn't add anything more to it. other than just to say that my children are in the public school system as well, because I believe in it. I believe in the administration, I believe in the teachers that we have here, and I believe in the quality of the education truly being best in class available out of the Alexander County Schools. And it's our mission to make it even better as we move forward. That's right. And I'm excited to be part of this team, be part of this organization, and I look forward to being able to continue on that mission of children first, which is the mantra of this organization, this philosophy. Secondly, we need to make it very clear that the effect of this bill will reduce our ability to provide the best possible education to our children because of the funding being pulled out of public schools and being transferred on. And I think this resolution makes it very clear as to what the dollar value is and the impact on this. And when you compare that against our $64.5 million budget, it is significant, and it does have an impact. And we need to be aware of that and communicate that. And we plead for the help of our representatives in Raleigh to help us, and our senators in Raleigh to help us help our children deliver, and our teachers to deliver the best possible education to our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board for the adoption of the resolution?
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Board Member Reese. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Aguayas. All those, is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Board members, at this time, I'll ask for a motion to enter into closed session per North Carolina General Statute 143318.11A6. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, Board Member Ryan, second, Board Member Reese. All those in favor of entering into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We'll enter into closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.